From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. This is Dateline Malacañang. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday, August 21st, joined Filipinos worldwide in commemorating Ninoy Aquino Day and encouraged the public to set aside political differences and unite for the country's comprehensive welfare and advancement. In his message, the President said that Aquino's beliefs and fighting for battles he deemed right has set an example of being relentless and resolute for many Filipinos. President Marcos also urged Filipinos to draw inspiration from the indomitable spirit of former Senator Benigno Ninoy Aquino Jr., who was shot at the tarmac of the Manila International Airport, now named after him, on this day in 1983 upon returning from the United States. In accordance with Republic Act No. 9256, the 21st day of August each year is declared as Ninoy Aquino Day and is celebrated as a special non-working day in the Philippines.
Dateline Malacañang.
A political science professor and columnist welcomed President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s move to use the 2016 arbitral ruling favoring the Philippines as a leverage to advance the country's interest with regard to the West Philippine Sea issue. Professor Richard Haydarian debunked claims that the 2016 arbitration award is just a piece of paper and no value. Haydarian said that the arbitration award actually worked, as China is not using 9-dash line and President Marcos has mentioned to potentially do what Indonesia and Vietnam are doing, which is maritime border delimitation based on prevailing international law. Professor Haydarian said that even Vietnam, Malaysia, and Indonesia have been invoking the 2016 arbitration award directly or indirectly with regard to threats posed by China and also in defending their claims. Another benefit of the award is that it provided legal basis for other non-claimant countries, such as the United States, to be more confident in conducting freedom of navigation operations. Haydarian said that even India, Japan, and Europe have passed through the area to show that they are also not happy with what China is doing. On July 12, 2016, the Permanent Court of Arbitration, or PCA, in The Hague adjudicating the Philippines case against China in the South China Sea, ruled overwhelmingly in favor of the Philippines. It determined that major elements of China's claim, including its 9-dash line, recent land reclamation activities, and other activities in Philippine waters, has no legal basis.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippines Northern Luzon Command, or NOLCOM, based in the province of Tarlac, has so far detected 22,474 foreign and domestic vessels in waters off Bani Town in Zambales Province, Pasukin in the province of Ilocos Norte, and the islands of Batan and Mavulis, both in the province of Batanes. Monitoring detachments of NOLCOM has undertaken a total of 90 patrols, including 60 air and 30 surface patrols since the start of the year. In cooperation with the Area Task Force north of the National Task Force West Philippine Sea, Lieutenant General Fernil Buca said that the monitoring is to ensure the territorial security of the country. Buca said NOLCOM will continue to launch maritime patrols or MARPAT in collaboration with key government agencies such as the Philippine Coast Guard or PCG and the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources or BFAR to ensure the safety of Filipinos, especially fishermen, and protect marine resources for the benefit of current and future generations. MARPAT is a NOLCOM routine security patrol which covers 3 maritime areas: the Bajo de Masinloc or Scarborough Shoal in the West Philippine Sea, the Philippine or Benham Rice, and the Batanes Strait.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippine Department of Budget and Management or DBM Secretary Amena Pangandaman said that there is nothing erroneous about government borrowings earmarked as productive use. Pangandaman said that during the time of the pandemic, the government was forced to borrow money in order to fund the health sector, adding that is the reason why the debt to gross domestic product or GDP increased. The budget secretary noted that they are trying to lower the country's debt as a percentage of the GDP and its deficit. There is a deficit because of insufficient revenue and the balance will come from borrowings. She said that given limited fiscal space, the national government has no choice but to borrow money and make sure that the move will increase potential returns. Secretary Pangandaman stressed that under the Marcos administration's 2022 to 2028 Medium-Term Fiscal Framework or MTFF, the government aims to lower its debt to GDP and deficit to GDP. MTFF targets to bring down the government's debt to GDP ratio to less than 60% by 2025 and reducing the deficit to GDP ratio to 3% by 2028. Pangandaman said the government would make sure that the projects that would be implemented are consistent with the Philippine Development Plan 2023 to 2028 and 8-point socio-economic agenda because the funds might just go to waste. According to a data from the Bureau of Treasury or BTR, the national government's outstanding debt reached 14.15 billion pesos as of the end of June 2023. The BTR also reported that the national government's budget deficit stood at 225.4 billion pesos for June, 4.58% or 9.9 billion pesos above the previous year's level.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Juan Ponce Enrile over the weekend said that it is beyond President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s control on what countries he would visit to advance the Philippines' interest at the international level. Enrile said that the President, upon the invitation of host countries, needs to embark on foreign trips in order to advance the country's interests. Enrile issued the statement after the Commission on Audit, or COA, in its 2022 audit report on the Office of the President, or OP, found that it spent over 403 million pesos for local and foreign trips. The former senator said that President Marcos is not in the position to decline the invitation for him to visit a foreign country. He also explained that those trips were vital in elevating the Philippines' ties with nations it considers as allies and partners. According to the COA report, the OP's foreign travel expenses amounted to 392.3 million pesos in 2022, higher than the 25.255 million pesos incurred in 2021. Local travel expenses, however, decreased to 10.78 million pesos in 2022 from 11.536 million pesos in 2021. Under the 2024 National Expenditure Program, or NEP, transmitted to Congress on August 2nd, the OP is requesting an allocation of more than 1.4 billion pesos for local and or foreign missions and state visits. The proposed budget was higher than the 893.97 million pesos under the 2023 NEP approved by Congress and included in the 2023 General Appropriations Act. President Marcos has so far visited 11 countries since he assumed the presidency in June of 2022. These include Indonesia, Singapore, Thailand, United States, Cambodia, Belgium, China, Switzerland, Japan, the United Kingdom, and Malaysia.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, is set to visit the Ayungin Shoal in Palawan Province anew for a rotation and resupply, or RORE, mission. AFP spokesperson Colonel Medel Aguilar did not give a specific date on when the RORE would be conducted at the contested portion of the West Philippine Sea, or WPS, but reiterated it is a clear demonstration of our resolve to stand up against threats and coercion and our commitment in upholding the rule of law. Aguilar said that despite the August 5 incident, where Philippine supply vessels were blocked, subjected to dangerous maneuvers and water cannon, the AFP is duty-bound to ensure the well-being of its personnel on the BRP Sierra Madre. The supply mission for the AFP personnel is intended to maintain the country's presence in the Ayungin Shoal and to exercise its sovereign rights and jurisdiction based on international law to ensure regional peace and stability. Aguilar pointed out that the Ayungin Shoal holds a strategic importance for the Philippines and is a vital fishing ground for Filipino fishermen. At the same time, he urged all parties to respect international law and respect the sovereignty, sovereign rights, and jurisdiction over its maritime zones.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippine National Police, or PNP, said that it would deploy 4,400 personnel to secure the country's hosting of the 19th International Basketball Federation, or FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023, which kicks off on August 25th. PNP spokesperson Colonel Jean Fajardo said they have undertaken soft deployments, particularly at the airports and billeting areas, as participants and delegates have started arriving in the country since last week. Fajardo also said personnel from the Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, Philippine Coast Guard, or PCG, Red Cross, Department of Health, or DOH, and force multipliers would also be deployed. She also said a sufficient number of personnel would be deployed in the accommodation areas of athletes and staff. The Philippines, Japan, and Indonesia are co-hosts in the August 25th to September 10th tournament dubbed the Olympics of Basketball. The Philippines will host 15 other nations in the group phase at the Philippine Arena in Bocaue, Bulacan Province, Smart Araneta Coliseum in Cubao, Quezon City, and the SM Mall of Asia or MOA Arena in Pasay City. The Philippine Arena will host the opening ceremony and 2 matches, including the Philippines-Dominican Republic game, while the MOA Arena will also hold 2 games on August 25th. The final phase will also be played at the MOA Arena. Meanwhile, Fajardo said the PNP will deploy 32,000 cops nationwide for the security preparations for the opening of classes in public schools on August 29th. Police assistance desks would also be deployed near school premises, aside from patrols in school vicinities to serve as a lookout for drug traffickers, muggers, and violent street gangs who may infiltrate the ranks of students. Private schools may opt to open their classes not later than the last day of August, as stated under Republic Act or RA 11480, or the Act to lengthen the school calendar from 200 days to not more than 220 class days. Under Department of Education Order No. 10, issued May 9th, all incoming learners enrolling in kindergarten and grades 1, 7, and 11 in public elementary and secondary schools shall pre-register or participate in the early registration to enable necessary preparations and adjustments of plans for school year 2023 to 2024.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, the Philippines Civil Service Commission, or CSC, is inviting government officials, employees, and their family members to join the nationwide fund run and tree planting event on September 17th to celebrate the 123rd Philippine Civil Service Anniversary. In partnership with the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, or DENR, and its attached agencies, the simultaneous plant run events nationwide aim to raise funds for the Pamanang Lingkod Bayani, a program that honors government workers who died in the line of duty through the provision of a one-time financial assistance and scholarship opportunities for their family members. In a statement, CSC Chairperson Carlo Nograles said that proceeds from the activity will provide financial aid for the families of fallen heroes and exemplary public servants. In Calabarzon, the plant run events will be held in Yes City, Tanay, Rizal Province, in the village of Can-Asuhan, Carcar City, Cebu for Western Visayas, and along Davao City Coastal Road, Matina Aplaya segment in Davao City for the Davao region. Other CSE regional offices will identify specific locations for participants. The registration is until September 8th and is open to all government officials, employees, and their family members who are at least 18 years of age at the time of registration. The registration fee is 550 pesos.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, we would like to invite everyone to come and visit our Facebook page at Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our post as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
Dateline Malacañang. From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.